Welcome YouTube. Today we're going to be reacting to some Actman. Now it's going to be my first coverage of the Actman videos. I do know who he is. I do cover, or not cover, I do watch some of his stuff. So I thought, I might as well react to some of it, so far, not so far. Why am I saying so far too? Anyways, I wanted to get my intro out of the way. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch because I do record these all live and you want to be here for my videos, don't forget to follow me on Twitch and it'll be great to have you here. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. It helps out a lot and any type of support is very, very, very well appreciated. Besides that, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm excited to go and see how this works, So, you know what? Let's just, without further ado, get right into it.
You got the views you were after, so pay up. You're crying to the subs, Pally. Guess who's waking up over here?
Oh my god.
Time to cash out. Will you get it over with? Maybe cons liked Fallout 4.
I love it, he has the whole checkered
But I
shirt.
ain't a fink. Dig? You've clicked on your last video, kid.
Aw, shit.
Sorry you got twisted up in this review.
He's got a
From where you're
gun!
viewing, it must seem like an 18-karat run of bad clickbait. Truth is, New Vegas was awesome from the start. The Fallout series is easily one of the most recognized and beloved in all of gaming. With its nihilistic
I don't know about that. I don't know about the past to follow. I do know just about 76. That's the only thing I know because of the internet historian. So I have heard that Fallout New Vegas is good. I have seen some videos on it and such. So that's all I know.
tone, diverse characters and factions, all with deep history and lore, Fallout defines the word nuclear. Nuclear? I mean, just look at how cute Vault Boy is. Fallout's also unique because it's really funny and cheerful at times.
Try not to smile so wide, baby. You might break your mouth.
Because post-apocalyptic stories aren't usually happy.
Kills dog.
But in Fallout, you've got this really dark sense of humor.
Stop! What the fuck are you doing? My brother died at the Battle of Hoover Dam. You're desecrating a war memorial.
You're a little bitch and your brother
Oh my
was
god,
too.
no.
Oh, now it's on!
But to truly appreciate what an accomplishment New Vegas is, we gotta head down to the Strip, baby. Why are people able to put thousands of hours into this single-player game? How is the combat customization and RPG mechanics? Why is the story and characters so captivating? Is New Vegas a world worth diving into? And why did this snazzy-looking man just shoot me in the face? Well, let's patrol the Mojave Wasteland, grab our Pip-Boy, and make our last delivery kid straight into this.
Broken bone and liar's lead, caught off guard and left for dead. Luck keeps turning as the light
The Vegas
begins to
miracle.
dawn.
The Vegas miracle.
With the first two Fallouts releasing in back-to-back years, it would take another 10 and a complete buyout of the IP from Bethesda to turn Fallout into what it is today. Which, oh shit.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
back, how do I
We've
turn
never
this
done
thing
before.
on? Most people in
Right.
the franchise with 3 considered one of the GOATs, but for some hardcore fans, Fallout 3 was missing something that 2 and 1 had.
Yeah, whatever, asshole.
Regardless, it's difficult for any developer to snatch a series away from its creators and still keep the same feeling and identity. Often we end up with something that feels like a knockoff.
We don't
Other
talk
times
about
the
that.
world is tortured with the release of something like believe it or not, Fallout already has a cheap knockoff. It's called 76. Honestly, Bethesda deserves a lot of credit for taking the series into 3D. If you don't like 3, just remember we wouldn't have Vegas without it.
This boss is so easy. Let's get him, guys.
No more losing. No more excuses.
Shut up.
But there was room for improvement. And while Bethesda was busy developing the only good game they'd release for the next 10 years, in 2008, they reached out to Obsidian with an exceptional offer.
What's the offer?
So, you want us to make a sequel to Fallout 3, Todd, my boy? That's right, but here's the catch, baby. You got 18 months, dig? 18 months? Are you mad? And it better get an 85 on Metacritic or else you won't be getting a bonus, kid. You ain't a fink, are ya? Bitch, don't you know how long this takes?
We wanted to make sure, when looking at the mechanics for the game, that we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. A lot of people like Fallout 3.
That D really helped out
like
that 3.
So
okay.
the experience should feel familiar to them.
Obsidian didn't have time to reinvent the wheel. What we ended up with was more like a spin-off, expansion, since it looks, feels, and plays almost identical on a technical level. Bethesda couldn't have contracted a studio better for the job. Coincidentally, Obsidian was made up of many who worked on the originals. Clearly, this was a team that understood Fallout's identity, something that Bethesda is really struggling with nowadays. Obsidian also made Knights of the Old Republic 2, which, if you're following the pattern here, was also a sequel to a critically acclaimed game that for some reason was given less than 2 years to develop. Both New Vegas and KOTOR 2 were extremely ambitious, had fantastic writing, large in part due to Chris Avellone. Seriously, this dude deserves way more recognition. To make anything halfway decent in the game industry typically takes 2 to 3 years. Yet somehow Obsidian just pulled it together on New Vegas just as they did before. So without even getting a glance at Doc Mitchell's fantastic mustache, New Vegas is already an accomplishment simply because it exists.
Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas has been the most requested review on this channel for the last 2 years, large in part due to the efforts of the NCR Trooper.
Patrolling the Mojave Wasteland almost makes you wish for the Actman to do a "Why was Fallout New Vegas so awesome" review.
Oh my god, not the NCR
Patrolling the
Trooper.
Mojave Wasteland almost makes you wish for the Actman.
Oh no, he's come to every post.
Patrolling the Mojave Wasteland.
Shut up! Will you shut up?
Only after I put 50 hours into New Vegas and stood atop Hoover Dam waving the flag of a two-headed bear did I finally understand why so many people love this game.
Once in a blue moon.
New Vegas wastes no time in pulling you in. As the soothing voice of Frank Sinatra massages your ears, you see some troopers waving flags on the dazzling streets. Some robots go by, and then...
Bravo 6. Going dark.
Priority 1.
we see a different group of troopers head into the city. The camera...
Of course. Of course. We're gonna do this, and then... Ban! There you go. Boy got banned. I hate bots. Anyways, let's continue.
pans out further to a remote location, and we hear the all-too classic phrase.
Yep, here it is.
War. War never changes.
Ron Perlman gives us the juicy backstory. The atomic war, vaults, and everyone who emerged to form tribes in the wasteland.
Yep.
We catch a glimpse of the two most important locations,
Hoover Dam
and a city untouched by nuclear fallout. The narration might lead most everyone to believe who the good guys and bad guys are.
It's more
But
complicated
New Vegas
than that.
plays with a stacked deck, baby, and this is one of its many tricks. More importantly, the opening sparks no shortage of questions and sets the player on a journey for answers. Who was this man and his accomplices? Who told you that Mohawk looked good?
It
Why
was
did he want us
horrible.
dead? Where can I get that suit? What were we delivering and to who? Find out next time on Fallout Ball Z.
Okay,
New Vegas gives you
no
just
plug-in.
the tastiest slice of everything it has to offer over the next 40 hours in roughly 5 minutes. So having been shot in the head and left for dead in an unmarked grave, you, the courier, cheat death. Oh man,
How about that?
my head. I had a dream I stopped playing video games for a day.
Whoa, easy there, easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. How about your name? Can you tell me your name?
My name? Acting Mailman.
I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name.
That's an
You didn't just
interesting
take a
name.
bullet out of my head, I'd kick your ass, Doc.
There's a lot of angles to this caper. Complexities aplenty.
Now it's time for one of the best character
Mailman.
creators in gaming.
Mailer
And
Man.
no, it's not because of the visuals. The music is oddly soothing and unsettling at the same time. Really powerful piece, and to my knowledge, it's the only time you hear it. Dr. Mustache wants to know who you main in League of Legends, what sort of
Oh
playstyle
no,
you
he plays
prefer.
League of
He
Legends.
does this by asking your opinions on some fine art. Yo, that's definitely two bears high-fiving.
That is
Now,
two bears
This is such a great
high-fiving.
way to introduce decision-making to the player. The world of New Vegas is defined by the vast stretches of the Mojave Wasteland. But what really drives the player's experience in that wasteland is how they build their character. And that is New Vegas's greatest strength: choice. Immediately, I could tell there were tons of deep mechanics, so much so that it's very overwhelming in the beginning. Maybe my parents didn't put enough points into my intelligence, but starting a character is pretty daunting. What's this? How does VATS work? What does crippling limbs do? How in Easy Pete's name do I hack terminals? No, seriously, what am I supposed to do? Why does my gun only fire when it feels like it?
I don't really feel like it.
If you're new to Fallout and trying to understand how everything works right from the start, just play it. Fake it till you make it.
Fake it
You'll
till
get
you
the
make
hang
it.
of things.
Okay.
Unless you're stupid like me and didn't know how to equip different ammo types until 35 hours in. Nor did I ever use a workbench to do anything besides recycle ammo. And that's when I had a revelation.
What's the revelation? Tell us.
It got me thinking, how many ways I wasn't using the sandbox and tools around me? What quests did I miss? Which areas did I never visit? What else is this game hiding from me? It's these very questions that have no doubt led people to put thousands of hours into a single-player game, uncovering every nook and cranny possible. A lot of RPGs fall into the pit of focusing too much on the numbers, Mason. How high is your light level, Guardian?
Oh god, not
Nobody
Destiny
cares
2!
about You don't like the light? Most first-person shooters don't have RPG mechanics, and those that do are often pretty shallow about it. New Vegas caters to fans of RPGs and shooters because you can play the numbers game if you really want to whoop ass, but you can still survive the wasteland if you don't. What makes New Vegas special, pun intended, is just how many ways you can play it. This is where all the different skills and special stats come in.
Stats.
These will do things like get you better prices at shops, repair weapons easier, or do you want to blow shit up and send people's limbs flying across the desert? Want to be a skilled marksman who snipes from a distance? You can do that. But what about the perks, baby? Let's do a little comparison. This is how many perks were in the original Fallout.
Okay.
Here's 2. This is 3.
That's a lot
4.
more.
And this is how many perks are in New Vegas.
God
Some perks will
damn.
give unique
That's a lot
dialogue
more.
options.
There's something I like about you. You just seem really understanding.
Oh
Help you
god,
see better in
no.
the dark, give you an extra special point, allow you to tame animals. A lot of perks are going to be based on your playstyle. Let's say you want to sell a bunch of stuff but are tired of managing your inventory. Well, there's a perk that lets you fast travel while you're over encumbered. So just head to Good Springs, drop all that
Oh my god, that is such a useful perk.
good shit off, bing bang boom, you're on your way. This is how perks are supposed to be in role-playing games. Not just a number boost, but you should be unlocking a part of the game that you couldn't previously use. In Fallout 3, you can become a godlike being and excel in absolutely every category. New Vegas forces you to create a more specific play style. You know in other games when you can convince people to jump off a cliff or kill their best friend, you know, the fun stuff.
Fun
But
stuff.
even in one of my all-time favorites, whether or not you convince people to do good or bad things is determined by a single stat.
Credits will do fine.
So if you put points into that, you can breeze through every conversation. New Vegas is different. It's genius because while there is a speech stat that handles most of those conversations, sometimes you need to be an expert in another area. Like if you don't know squat about explosives, Easy Pete won't help you out. And then what are you gonna do?
Too dangerous. Sorry. Blow yourself up. Blow your neighbor up. Blow the whole town up.
He proceeded to blow the whole town
At some
up.
point or another, every skill has an influence on dialogue, some more than others, but you won't be able to win them all.
Third floor access is for executives only. Please identify.
I got you some ice cream.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
You literally cannot experience
What is
everything
that?
New Vegas has to offer in a single playthrough. If you put all your points into lockpicking, you can open everything, but you can't convince this kid to buy drugs from you. And that's a real tragedy.
Hey, yo.
New Vegas is based on trade-offs. Trades give you positive and negative bonuses right from the start, and these are going to severely affect your playstyle. Best of all, if you picked Wild Wasteland, you get to fight aliens and see all sorts of crazy stuff.
Aliens?
Often in RPGs, at some point your character becomes so overpowered, it takes all the decision making out of leveling up, because you're gonna kick the game's ass whether or not you can be noticed underwater. Every time I leveled up in New Vegas, I took a solid 5 minutes to look over my options. Skills, perks, traits, stats, challenges. All these mechanics work together in harmony. That's why this game has such a satisfying progression and fair challenge. What's that? Oh yeah, I guess we're still in the tutorial. Well, thanks for the Pip-Boy, Doc. Hope I don't come back to kill you later.
That's
And now,
foreshadowing.
my friends, let the great
I love
journey
arson
into the
explosion.
Mojave Wasteland
Babe.
begin.
Oh.
Patrolling the Mojave Wasteland almost makes you wish New Vegas would stop crashing.
That hurts my ears. Ain't no way, just got a fucking gun.
I'd be a lot more critical of
Interesting.
what in the goddamn do I really gotta talk about?
On the desert sands and ruined roads I roam.
We seem to be experimenting some technological differences.
If it wasn't a stupid decision to make this game in 18 months, whoever decided to stop patching New Vegas, you gave it a bad rap. I get it, playing older titles, you gotta lower your standards, but if I have to install mods to make something playable, I'm sorry, but you lost karma with me. New Vegas is far from a perfect game, and that's what is so tragic. Let's say it was remastered and played on a new engine, bam, just like that, it's in the conversation for top 20 video games of all time. Bethesda's legacy is so inescapable that even when they commission other people to make games for them, they're still riddled with bugs.
I mean, of course I do. I don't have premium right now. I'm gonna get it soon, but yeah, not right now.
And not just ants.
Hey, that really sucked!
It did.
Writing, combat, world design, music, everything else is perfect. But that's the thing, all of my problems with New Vegas are on the technical level. Would have been nice to spruce up the animations, improve the visuals, make the AI better.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
But I imagine the jankiness, crashing, and lack of polish were all due to the rushed deadline.
Oh, for sure,
So if you can bite your tongue when the game inevitably crashes, if you can look past the technical problems, and you really should, what you'll find is an experience like none other. So your first goal is to track down the man who shot you and also find out who these two goons are. Answers lie in New Vegas. If you talk to folks around Good Springs, they'll tell you how to play the game. And this series of quests introduces you to every single mechanic, and it's brilliant. You get to barter with a merchant, talk to an explosives expert, repair a radio, there's a terminal you can hack, you learn about karma and fame, there's some geckos and manises to kill.
Mantises?
The starting area
I didn't know
of Good
there's
Springs
mantises.
offers something useful for every single skill, and that informs the
Lot of
player.
insects.
Hey, this is what you can do with this talent in the future. But shucks, we need some conflict. Turns out there's a fierce rivalry between the local powder gangers and the citizens of Good Springs, which is an identical setup to the final quest. You're given two options. If you defend the town, you need to visit each person and rally them together, but convincing them to fight requires a different skill. That's just good game design. The tutorial ensures that no matter how any person creates their character, they'll be useful in some way. The other choice is to side with the powder gangers and kill everyone.
Shit, yeah.
Thanks for teaching me how to shoot a rifle, Sonny. These are the type of gut-wrenching choices the player has to get used to making. But what New Vegas is, what the Mojave Wasteland really is freedom.
When will we be free? You think we can make it? Freedom!
You looking for a pat on the back? My mother is dead.
Are you gonna blow? Yeah.
At this point, you'll likely head to Prim and follow the main quest, as that's the obvious direction you're given. Don't you want to find Big Dick Ben? Yes, I do, but the people of Prim need me to find a new sheriff and restore order to this lawless land.
The Kaisar has marked you for death, and the Legion obeys.
But of course, an ambush by Legion ruffians. How dare you destroy Nipton?
Arson!
What's this? I've stumbled across a bitter rivalry between the NCR and the Great Khans.
Got a situation with some great conjuring.
Hold, soldier. I shall negotiate with their chieftain.
What the hell?
Oh, it's one of the guys.
You're that courier Benny wasted back in Good Springs.
Oh.
You're supposed to be dead!
Am I
But wait a minute. What if I wanted to go back? All the way back? Is it possible to head directly to the strip right from the start? Obsidian discovered the secret to eternal replayability. Most of the factions and quest lines in New Vegas can be accessed at any point.
Was that meant to be a shocking revelation?
There's never a moment where you get handed a quest and some nutsack is like, "Excuse me, sir, I won't speak to you unless you're level 13. None of that. This gives the player an enormous amount of control over the events of the game and what order they play out. If you know the way, you can skip right to the second act, but the route to do so is much less obvious and more dangerous.
Why are you running?
And that ensures only experienced gamers will know how to get there right away. I completed entire subplots before even being asked to. Alright, listen, trooper. If we're gonna defeat Caesar's Legion— I killed him already. What? Yeah, he said—
Mark my words, you piece of shit.
And I shot him.
I killed him. Well, you're gonna have to recruit the boomers to our side.
They're already there.
This is a group of explosive
They're
experts
already
who
here.
will kill anyone that gets near their base. There's gotta be— I already made it over there. Oh, come on. What can I say? The boomers love me. For the Battle of Hoover Dam, you have to visit the Brotherhood of Steel and boomers at Nellis. But I just happened across these places. It's not just the order in which you can do things that makes exploring the Mojave so dynamic. It's also the quest design itself.
The whole premise of Fallout is about giving the players at least 3 ways to solve each quest.
It's $10 taste of KFC Tuesday.
I don't care. I hate ads. I really do hate ads. Ads.
In the Brotherhood of Steel questline, you're told to get rid of an NCR trooper that's stalking them by convincing him to leave or killing him.
Look at the lamb chops, though.
May have saved my life.
Next, you have to recover 3 lost holotapes in 3 separate locations and can do so in any order. But then you have a choice between showing the contents of those tapes to Paladin Hardin or by giving them to McNamara. Hardin wants the Brotherhood to continue exploring the wasteland and realize the Brotherhood's true potential, and McNamara wants to keep everyone locked down and safe during this pandemic. Do you notice how every single quest in this chain offers the player some kind of choice?
Yep.
Do you see how it gives you a sense of agency and control? Siding with the Powder Gangers in the fight for Good Springs isn't an obvious option, but even right from the start, New Vegas gives you options. This is what I call the tree branch quest design, and it has to be the most time-consuming type of quest and game to write. But to take this style and apply it to literally every objective
and
in
it was
the
done
game
in 18 months.
is
It's crazy.
absolutely insane. Cyberpunk was developed over 5 years, and it only managed to do this in one single quest. Just to put things in perspective. Here's another example. When allying with the boomers, you need to gain fame with them, but you're not given a linear series of chores. Instead, Pearl says, hey, here's 10 things you can do, but you only gotta do 5. Like helping a dude find a girlfriend, raising an old bomber from the lake, talking to children, Listen to the history of the boomers. Come on, there's gotta be a boring quest in here somewhere. Go kill ants. There it is. God damn it, even this has layers. These ants are different from every other ant in the game in that they explode if you shoot them with energy weapons. But also, if you have enough repair skill, you can make a sonic emitter that'll kill them all for you. This is the New Vegas secret to eternal replayability. With every storyline consisting of so many different choices and outcomes, it would take hundreds of hours to see and do it all. No quest is ever as straightforward.
I wonder we're gonna talk about the man, I forgot his name, the one with the bandage straps who got burned and then thrown into the cliffside. Forgot his name.
As it seems. There's one where you're hired as a guard for the Van Graff's weapons store, and you have to decide who to let in. If you let this guy in, Allahu Akbar. Turns out he's a suicide bomber.
They're all dead.
One of my favorite happens in Camp McCarran, where you come across Dr. Hildern, who says, hey buddy, go recover some data from an old vault. There's a lot of plants in there and it's really cool. Well, that sounds like a straightforward fetch quest.
I thought it was a fairly straightforward assignment. It's a simple question
I
of
just said that.
data.
As soon as you walk out the door, his assistant stops you and says, one of the other scientists Hildern sent out there hasn't returned. If you go back to him and ask with enough speech, he'll tell you he sent at least 8 other people there.
I have no evidence that they're dead. 1,000 things could have happened between here and the vault.
Oh, none have returned? Gee, I wonder if anything weird is going on over at Vault 22. Using this knowledge, you can negotiate for more caps, and just by spending a little bit of extra time talking to people, you've not only learned more about the quest and the story,
but you're getting paid more.
You've gotten a better reward for doing it. We see that the plants have grown throughout the entire vault, creating these spore crawlers and other nasty plants. Terminals are scattered everywhere detailing what happened, how this got out of control, and you find the missing scientist Keely and the data. She wants you to destroy it so that nobody else uses this to weaponize it, and now the motivations of Hildern become clear. You can lie to Keely and not force a fight, take the data back to Hildern and just forget about it, or you can destroy the data and return to him empty-handed. New Vegas has so much more going on behind the scenes than it's willing to admit, but if the player is thorough, they can uncover it. It's the most authentic, choose-your-own-adventure story ever told in gaming. That said, yes, you can kill everyone.
Yeah.
Except children, of course. That wouldn't be fun. Most of the story is all about who you help and why. But being a selfish asshole and killing everyone is literally always an option too.
Someone's been murdered! Man down!
And that's what's so cool. The game doesn't break if you kill Doc Mitchell.
Not true. What do you mean not true?
Will.
I love you!
New Vegas has incredible writing and characters, but what makes it dynamic is how the story adjusts to your actions.
Joshua Graham, that was the guy I was thinking about. I just remembered. It came into my head.
Is so important that the game has to arbitrarily block you from killing them.
You triggered my trap card!
If you kill Kaisar or the president of the NCR, they still wage war against each other, just led by different people. It's possible to get an ending slideshow where all the main characters narrate their deaths at the hands of the courier. There's a contingency though. Obviously the player needs certain information, so oftentimes there's like notes or journals. Should you silence them before? What's awesome is how NPCs react to your actions throughout the game.
Caesar's dead. Bet he didn't see this coming when he was having his coffee this morning.
The Legion's aggression will outlive Caesar. Indeed, they'll try to take the dam as a tribute to his memory.
You know that Legion furry Vulpes you meet in Nipton? Well, you're supposed to talk to him later on after you meet Mr. House. But if you kill him, then another Legion guy takes his place and mentions it.
Your crimes against the Legion, including the death of the fearless Vulpes and Kulta, are hereby forgiven.
Recruiting Boone will often make NCR troopers say, wish I had a first recon guy looking after me. Once you get the platinum chip, you don't even have to talk to Mr. House. You can just straight up murder him. Killing him before anyone asks you to will give unique dialogue that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Now that that's out of the way, let's see. Mr. House was a concern, but someone conveniently dealt with him for us. Oh, that reminds me. You might be happy to know that your efforts haven't gone unnoticed.
The world of New Vegas is always changing around you. Where you go, who you ally with, what groups you destroy, the weapons you use, and how you build your character. It all matters and makes New Vegas engaging from start to finish. Every playthrough is gonna be different. This is the ultimate sandbox game.
I can see. I'm already having coffee. You can't tempt me with that. Oh my god, back with this trailer. I hate this. I hate seeing what used to be my... I still consider him my main. And Val. Be desecrated to that, okay?
Killing. But when done righteously, it's just a chore. Like any other.
But
there he is.
Successes,
Never mind.
Sure
Alright,
does
removed
take
on.
its sweet time getting to the good stuff.
The right stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think the writing is spectacular, but sometimes I just want to shoot things. So often you'll run into a character, ask a simple question about a man in a checkered suit, and they'll be like, "Oh, that guy? Let me tell you about my life story first." If you don't explore off the beaten path, you'll be begging for a group of legionnaires to ambush you. But when things do get rolling, ooh, the action's intense.
Can't run from me.
Get him off me! Get him off me! Help me, dude! New Vegas was able to blend two polar opposite genres together in a way that I don't think any other game has. You've got the fast-paced first-person shooter action mixed with the slower, more tactical strategy of a role-playing game. When you slow things down by using VATS, it's almost like swapping to a turn-based game. While this mostly kicks ass, the combat is often interrupted by the same thing that plagues a lot of Bethesda games. Having a menu that does everything. Want to swap weapons? Pull out the Pip-Boy. Trying to take drugs, kid? Whip out the Pip-Boy. Need to heal? Pip-Boy. If this game ever got remastered, I'd love to have the option to quick select healing items, weapons, and drugs. Dark Souls' quick select item slots are just so perfect. I don't know why games don't do this more. It keeps the combat moving. But shooty games are only as fun as the tools you use and enemies you fight. Real quick, how many different weapons you think there are in New Vegas? Take
300. 323.
You don't know this. 178.
Okay.
Impossible!
Alright, I was being very ambitious, but the fact that they have that many is still really good.
Counting unique weapons and DLC, that is straight wild. I felt like every 5 minutes I was finding some cool new piece of tech. It's gotta be challenging to make a hyper-unrealistic setting like the end of the world feel genuine. But they did that. Obsidian wanted to make the tech reflect the world around it. So you have modern firearms like M16s, 9mm pistols, stuff that people maybe brought out of the vaults that's considered old world. Then you got makeshift energy weapons, things that people probably made in the 200 years since the Atomic War. Blending futuristic, Western, and modern eras together so successfully is what makes Fallout, well, Fallout.
Yeah.
New Vegas never had me question if any part of it was realistic or not. Based on your reputation, certain areas can be inaccessible, at least not without killing everyone. Depending on who you travel with, certain companions will straight up
casually
tell
somebody
you,
getting crucified.
just so you know, I hate the Legion, and I'll murder each and every one I see, man, woman, or child. That's great, Boone. I'm gonna leave you here and go strike a deal with Kaisar. You can sneak into these areas by wearing the outfits of each faction. Not to mention every weapon is given a role, and in order to conquer what the game throws at you, you'll have to pack a variety of different weapons. Some weapons like the flare gun have unique properties that can scare off animals, others pierce armor better. There's one pistol that calls down
Is that an orbital
from the
beam?
sky.
That is an
Mysterious
orbital
magnum
beam.
that plays a jam every time you pull it out.
Yo.
The Gatling laser is something Jesus Christ would use, but it burns through ammo like nothing else. Some melee items like the thermic lance are good even if you don't dump points into the melee skill. Boy, cast didn't last long. In my playthrough, I rocked everything from grenade launchers to snipers, revolvers, shotguns, plasma rifles, shoulder-mounted machine guns.
Definitely very interesting
It's a
diversity of
beautiful
weapons.
dance of death, and you are death's courier. But I got a question. What sort of enemies would you create in a game that takes place in a post-nuclear world? Mutated humans? Ghouls? Giant fire-breathing geckos? Two-headed cows? Radiated scorpions? Dinosaurs? In the
That's a
Mojave,
dinosaur?
you're bound to run into some drugged out creatures, and it's such a neat detail that most of the animals are reptiles because reptiles like the desert. More importantly,
why do you show a fucking scorpion as a reptile? It's not a reptile.
New Vegas answers the question, what would happen to animals in evolution post-nuclear fallout? Rather than doing what Cyberpunk did and just cluster the same enemy type together in 1,000 locations, New Vegas is actually smart where they place the enemies. They're careful not to throw any one type at you too often, so the Mojave is constantly throwing different things at you. Some baddies might seem overpowered, but they all have weaknesses. And this is where crippling limbs comes into play. Cazadors can close the gap in seconds, but if you cripple their wings, they are laughable. Knight can use Stealth Boy, so a high perception is required. Now, there is somewhat of an exploit by using a Stealth Boy and just sniping the toughest enemies in the game from afar.
I see, okay.
But I guess in that case, you need to find these things before you can exploit such a strategy. While I love the game, the combat, the weapons, and the enemies, the AI is still pretty basic. I think New Vegas struggles to maintain a strong difficulty curve.
I keep seeing his face
I don't care about the smiling movie that's coming out. I just want to watch my video. Please, 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 let me skip. I can't skip these. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Lumbering across the west, ruined treasures repossessed.
The art style and setting. Okay.
The old soul of America.
If you told me there was a game that combined the time periods of ancient Rome, futuristic Western, and World War II era, I'd say that game is probably batshit crazy. But the last thing I'd imagine is that this combo would actually work. While the writers did a kick-ass job of molding all the factions together in a cohesive world, it's also in the level and world design that Obsidian went above and beyond. They took the setting of Vegas and slapped a post-nuclear skin over it, taking inspiration from real locations right down to the nitty-gritty details.
I wanted to sort of immerse myself more in especially the desert
they
sort of
care.
style. I took a motorcycle trip through the desert, basically going all around the outskirts of Vegas.
I mean, they literally toured these areas to build the look and feel of the game, and I think that's why it stands out so much. It's authentic. They actually made a real Hoover Dam because of this game. That's just insane.
I don't think
now,
that's how that works.
Be honest, New Vegas is kind of an eyesore for 2010. I can't tell you that it looks much better than Oblivion. There's a lot of gray, dull colors, rust everywhere. It's a wasteland act, man. What do you expect? I don't know. Most outside areas look dry and yellow while the inside of buildings is all gray. But when you see the Lucky 38 shining in the distance, it makes you feel like maybe there's hope. The city of New Vegas is a shining beacon. While you're dicking around with cazadors or doing whatever, it's a constant reminder of your ultimate goal. And by keeping this landmark inside of the player from so far away, it makes New Vegas seem like a mystical place, which it is. One of the only locations that still holds a feeling of old world civilization. Because of the setting and different themed casinos, the Strip feels like an amusement park of sorts, an escape from the dreary atmosphere outside. There's one quest where you can recruit people to perform in the Tops Casino, and before you do, this billboard doesn't have much text on it, but as you recruit people, you not only get the coolest Magnum in the world, but also see the names of the people you brought in. This is one of the many ways the level design changes based on your actions. New Vegas proves that you can make an immersive world without cutting-edge graphics and radiant AI. With Wild West-style saloons, futuristic atomic bomb museums, there's a lot of cool stuff to see and do. Through clever use of landmarks, there's always something interesting off in the distance. It might just make you want to see what that giant dinosaur is all about. Then you go in and discover a quest, and that's what's so magical about these types of open world adventures, but New Vegas in particular. You can pick any direction you want, and eventually you'll find something interesting. You'll discover new stories, locations, and people.
That's great. Cool.
Brotherhood to hide.
Factions and story. Okay.
Howdy, folks. It's Mr. New Vegas, and I have a good feeling about all of you listening.
After I confronted that son of a bitch,
Got a great
Benny,
voice for that.
What in the goddamn?
I decided to give this cool cat a chance to explain himself. Oh, who would have guessed this two-timing Fink would double-cross me and send some hitmen my way?
What the fuck?
Now, however you choose to deal with Benny, it kickstarts the second act, and soon the player will get a chance to interact with each major faction.
Okay.
But we have a big question to answer. Why are politics in video games so bad? Dumb memes aside, New Vegas is the epitome of next-level writing.
Nobody's dick's that long.
I think the best games are those that get you to think on a deeper level. By the end of the story, the player will have made a choice of which political and social ideology they put into power. Whether you realize it or not, New Vegas is asking you philosophical questions about
okay. Talk about a funny ad though. They're kind of well placed. Alright, let me skip this one because I can and I don't want to watch ads.
type of society
Communism,
is.
nah.
Ladies and
Overrated.
gentlemen, this is how you put politics into a game and make it interesting.
There are literally 125,000 factions in Fallout New Vegas. We're probably gonna have to cut some of them. There's the NCR, there's Caesar's Legion, there's the PTA, Mickey Mouse Club, Alcoholics Anonymous is in there right now.
But who is most fit to
Perfect
rule
ad
the
placement.
Mojave?
I
One
know.
thing's been made clear
I know
so
it
far in
was.
our travels.
What are you
This
doing here? Are
place
you
is
streaming?
fucked. Someone needs
Hold up, did it? Are you streaming? What the hell are you doing here, Vera? Huh?
to step in. Well, let's meet our contestants. Mr. House, current dictator of New Vegas, who wields an army of Securitrons. New California Republic, the old soul of America. A democratic organization that suffers from internal corruption. Caesar's Legion, a brutal imperialistic totalitarian dictatorship based on ancient Rome. And Yes Man,
was not
an
built in a
independent
day.
robot seeking to liberate New Vegas from the other three. But the
can't say
Mojave
no.
is
I
also
literally
made up
can't.
of smaller but still important groups. The Great Khans, a nomadic tribe of raiders and drug-dealing hippies.
Grudalicious.
The Brotherhood of Steel, a militarized secret society
You
bent on
better
preserving
than-
technology
I need to
and
start
human
rating.
knowledge.
Yeah, you do need
The
to start.
Boomers,
You need to do that.
An isolated band of explosive fanatics. Now, Obsidian did a phenomenal job giving personality and backstory to each group. More importantly, Obsidian answers the question, what kind of groups would rise from the ashes in a post-apocalyptic world set around New Vegas? A bunch of Elvis Presley impersonators, that's for sure.
I remember hearing about this. This is the only faction you don't mess with.
The thing of it is, we don't even know what his name was. All the posters just referred to him as
the king.
This is where New Vegas reveals its royal flush. All the factions are at a poker table, and the courier is the dealer, able to stack the deck against whoever they choose. At first I was like, well, these two are dictatorships, and I'm not a big fan of those, and we need some kind of government, so Yes Man is out of the picture. That leaves the NCR. Surely a democracy
I'm going
is
with the
best
House.
choice, right?
I love democracy.
I'm going with
What's
the
that,
House.
Colonel? You want me to assassinate the leader of the Great Khans?
I don't enjoy killing.
That sounds kind of evil, but...
We don't have time for diplomacy.
All right, if it's for the greater good. So there you are, helping to rebuild America. You go back to the Colonel and she says, hey, can you exterminate every single last person in the Brotherhood of Steel? Is there a peaceful option? No. Good thing I sided with the NCR, and no way am I regretting this decision at all.
That's why you go with Mr. House. Okay, what is... Oh, God. I got a fucking bot. Got a bot. Ban. Did I? Now I'm going with the dictators.
New Vegas has such a unique approach
going
to
Mr.
morality
House.
because the Big Four all have compelling reasons for why they should rule, but also have crippling flaws. The New California Republic is the antithesis to the Legion, a revival of old world values like democracy, liberty, freedom, law, and order. But everywhere you go, you hear people complaining about their lack of organization, the bureaucracy that prevents them from making real changes.
The water ration's still a problem, and the NCR doesn't look like it's going to do anything about it anytime soon.
Some say the old world values they parade around are the same ones that led to nuclear war in the first place.
The bear grows without structure, follows a symbol without
Think about it, if you could overthrow the dictator, you can be the dictator yourself. I do not want to be in a position of power. That sounds taxing, annoying, and way too much work. Me personally, I would never do that. I would never want to be in a position like that. It's just so much work. It's so much extra stuff. You have to deal with everybody's shit. Everybody's shit's not your shit. Everything you do gets looked at. You make it seen as a weakness. You murder people, though? Who cares? You can do it without being a dictator. Like, it's just extra stuff. That's a lot of responsibility that you just put on yourself for no reason. And then people want to kill you back now more than ever. And it's just so much extra stuff. I'd rather just not get involved.
knowing its history.
As you travel, the areas controlled by the NCR are often plagued by raiders, internal conflict, something the Legion doesn't suffer from. The NCR is spread so thin that troopers are constantly requesting your help because they have no reinforcements, no backup communication. The NCR simply doesn't have the manpower or resources to truly unify these groups. Hell, they can't even unify themselves.
People turning against each other when the Mojave's at risk of falling? If the Republic's sinkhole progress doesn't kill us, greed will.
You can actually use this knowledge to convince the final boss, Legate Linnaeus, to back down on his campaign. The NCR also seems to be incapable of negotiating peacefully with groups, instead opting to just kill everyone. There's a shocking lack of diplomacy and discipline across the ranks.
I've told him he could make my job a whole lot easier if he would just let me shoot anyone who talks back to me.
This is the woman in charge of interrogating prisoners in a democratic society. And she's a lieutenant.
What if better?
I'm getting attacked by ads. That's what I'm getting attacked by.
NCR has good intentions, but it's hard to put faith in the way they operate. The NCR hasn't proven that their type of society will work long term.
As a young man, I was taught to venerate President Tandy of Shady Sands, the founding mother of the new California Republic. Did you know her presidency lasted 52 years? And that her father, Aradesh, was the Republic's first president? Does that sound like a democracy to you? Or a hereditary dictatorship?
Caesar's Legion.
Hereditary dictatorship, but that's... damn.
Best written characters in gaming, the Legion operates as ancient Rome did.
Yeah.
By conquering smaller tribes, destroying their culture, and merging everyone under a single banner and culture. Throughout your travels, the Legion's brutality is always on full display. You'll see crucified bodies wherever they go. Ask anyone and they'll tell you tales of murder, war, slavery, and death.
Worst of the worst. A tribe of degenerate losers led by a creep.
Slavers, killers, and all other kinds of trouble.
Even Legion soldiers will tell you of how their tribes were conquered. They don't tell you how they've been brainwashed to believe in this brutal society. Caesar himself rules with an iron fist and punishes his soldiers harshly for failure.
The legionaries are lined up in ranks. Every 10th man steps forward and is beaten to death by his brothers.
Jeez.
It instills a certain robust obedience.
How could you possibly find any good in the Legion when it's portrayed as this horrible empire? Well, the Kaiser does make compelling arguments.
I'd seen what had become of the NCR's attempts to emulate the culture of pre-war America. The infighting, the corruption. Rome was a highly militarized autocracy that effectively integrated the foreign cultures it conquered. It dedicated its citizens to something higher than themselves, to the idea of Rome itself.
Civilization after the nukes was basically reset to a blank slate. And despite all of ancient Rome's problems, it was one of the longest lasting civilizations of all time. Is it really so bad to unify everyone under a single banner for the time being? Much like Rome in its glory days, the Legion doesn't have much trouble with raiders, criminals, and chaos. It's a very structured society, and there is peace within it, through threat of force. But at the same time, Caesar is also just a man who found some ancient books and said, yeah, this'll work for the next 1,000 years.
I spent 2 centuries searching for the platinum chip. It's my invention.
Mine property, mine! Now be a good courier and deliver it!
Give me that chip.
No.
No, sir.
And then there's Mr. House, the man responsible for saving Vegas before the nukes went off. And he has remained its sole proprietor ever since, restoring power to the city through Hoover Dam. Mr. House's life work has been to restore New Vegas to its former glory.
Revenge doesn't interest me. Progress does.
He's cunning, shrewd, and looks down upon the Legion and NCR as groups that haven't learned from the past. Mr. House, too, is a pretty compelling choice.
Give me 20 years, and I'll reignite the high technology development sectors. 50 years, and I'll have people in orbit. 100 years, and my colony ships will be heading for the stars to search for planets unpolluted by the wrath and folly of a bygone generation.
He got Vegas this far, right? But by siding with Mr. House, you're putting all your faith in a single man, a dictator who's hidden himself from the rest of the world.
I prefer the term autocrat.
He's also a firm believer in not dictating what people do. So he doesn't have any plans to fix the rest of the Mojave's problems. He just wants Vegas to continue being what it is. Mr. House lacks the ambition for change the other factions have.
What I did to you was rotten. But if you think House, the NCR, or Caesar won't kill to put Vegas in their pocket, I really did blow out your brains.
And finally, there's the independent yes man, programmed by Benny with a plan to take control of the Strip by using the platinum chip. This option allows the player to choose what they do with the other minor factions, but they will have to kill Mr. House and beat both the Legion and NCR at Hoover Dam. While independence sounds fine and dandy, without a strong leader or system of government, everywhere inside and out of Vegas will succumb to chaos and disorder. Hot damn, is that complex or what? This is why the 4 choices are so hotly debated amongst fans, even to this day. Which is the best option? It's entirely subjective. There's so many deep stories here. A lot of the themes with the companions and factions are all about letting go. Boone's PTSD from the death of his wife because of a miscommunication and getting revenge because of it. Veronica wishing the Brotherhood would change and adapt to prevent them from dying out and failing their purpose. The Great Khans holding on to their past glory after years of crippling defeats.
My tribe deserves better than this.
Caesar holding on to the ancient ways of Rome, unwilling to face the facts that his style of rule is brutal. The factions all talk shit about each other, and what's interesting is they're not wrong, but they are wrong about themselves. Caesar is just as unwilling to admit his flaws as the NCR or Mr. House is, and yet despite all their differences, there's one thing everyone has overlooked: war. You people have lived in this chaotic hellhole for 200 years, and you still haven't figured out why war is bad and you shouldn't do it? In Fallout New Vegas, the people still haven't learned to make peace, despite that being a constant reminder of the state they are in currently. Obsidian went to such great lengths to characterize each faction
so far it's a great
and make
review.
them feel real and compelling in their own way. It's such a profound game where different ideals and philosophies clash against each other. I find it immensely fitting that there is no peaceful solution in a game that begins with the words
War.
War never changes.
War never changes.
Ow. Why?
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed.
Finally, there is the climactic Battle of Hoover Dam, and once you claim victory for the faction of your choice, the end credits roll and let you know how your decisions have shaped the world and people around you.
Interesting.
Are you satisfied with them? Did you make the right moves? At the end of it all, I was still left wondering. Fallout New Vegas is much more than a spin-off. It's easily one of the most engaging, adaptive video games I've ever played, and arguably the best Fallout. Choice, is its greatest
What do you guys think is the best Fallout?
To be who you want to be, play how you want to play, to choose your enemies and your allies. New Vegas poses deep philosophical questions about morality. It goes beyond just being a fun shooty RPG. New Vegas is a game that'll make you think. It has such a unique setting that feels real, like
Never played Fallout. Me neither.
Every single way
but I do know
in
about
which
it.
these societies would operate. New Vegas is jam-packed with likable, deep characters and the best quest design I've ever seen. If this game had a remaster to iron out its still-present technical problems, update the graphics and the engine, it would be undoubtedly a masterpiece. Its successes are made all the more impressive with its short development time, and the way it melds so many styles and time periods together is simply remarkable. I have no shortage of good things to say about it. And that is why Fallout New Vegas is so awesome. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. It certainly has been a long time coming. I have been struggling with some personal issues and stuff the last few weeks, so if you're wondering why the videos haven't been coming out as often, you know, that's why. But I'm really glad to have finished this video, and I want to give a big shout out to all my Patreon supporters, all of you beautiful subscribers. All of you are the reason why I do this. What's your favorite mod? For a good while, it was Halo Online. Have you played Persona 5 Royal or Hollow Knight? I have played Hollow Knight and it's pretty damn good. If you could choose the last two Smash Bros. DLC characters...
Okay, he's just talking about updating. Alright, this has been my reaction to Fallout New Vegas, why it is so awesome by the Actman. Obviously, I'll have his channel linked in the bottom of the description of my video. Besides that, thank you very much guys for watching. I've enjoyed this so much. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. I don't know about playing New Vegas. It looks interesting enough to try out, but honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't say definitely if I would try it or not. But it looks good. It looks good. It's definitely an interesting story and everything. I like how the choices matter and everything, and all that. And I'm pretty sure it has a bunch of mods that you can probably do on it. But besides that, you know, I'll see you guys next time, YouTube. Bye bye, Malazzles.